So welcome to the channel. It's so important about what you eat. Now, some of you may have seen me with Zoe. Now I'm with Parvz. Welcome to the channel, Parvz. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Paul?
Yeah, not too bad.
It's been a while.
Yes, I don't know how many years or
No.
whatever.
It's got to be 9 years, I think.
Is it really?
Probably, yes.
Wow. You don't look a day older. You look great. Yeah, amazing. So you're now studying and have studied nutrition.
Yes, I have finished studying.
Okay.
So I started a 3-year qualification with
Yeah.
the College of Naturopathic Nutrition.
Okay.
It was based online.
Brilliant.
And then for my, so it was 3 years. First year was Biomeds.
Yeah.
And then 2 years of nutrition.
Okay. So what's Biomeds? Educate me.
So basically it was covering everything of how your body works.
Okay. So let's say I say, I'm going to drink a Red Bull. Hey, Red Bull. And you're going to say, oh my God, what's that going to do to my body if I drink some Red Bull? Hey?
So with that, I would say I would always advise any of my clients that I speak to, that I work with, is always start with wholesome food.
Wholesome food, natural food. So don't have a can of Red Bull.
No. You find that they're very heavily processed.
Okay.
They are full of sugar.
Yeah.
And what that means is that you will get your initial pick-me-up that you need and want, which is why you've probably picked it.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you'd also come crashing down very quickly after it. So it won't stabilise your blood sugar levels.
Right.
Which means that then you're on this roller coaster of
highs and lows,
having a look at what can I go for now.
Yeah.
So really the importance is like using wholesome foods.
Such as an example. What should I have?
So as an example would be you could have protein balls.
Okay. So for example, I've driven here 2 hours, a little bit tired, long day yesterday, 4 hours driving. And I thought Red Bull would keep me going and enable me to concentrate and be alert. But you're saying I need some, was it balls?
You can have protein balls.
Right.
You can have a handful of nuts.
Right. But what sort of nuts? Because they say that sometimes eating too many nuts is not good for you.
No, a handful of nuts is what I would say. So 10 to 12.
Okay.
To context.
Pistachios, cashews?
Mixed. Unsalted, so just totally plain nuts.
Right.
You could have that with, and you can very easily pick them up from service stations, like Greek yogurt, full fat Greek yogurt.
So you're saying, so if I'm, this is where it gets complicated. Huh? So I'm driving, I'm busy. You're saying pick up some Greek yogurt and some nuts.
Yeah.
Now, picking up the nuts is easy.
Yep.
And you're saying buy some yogurt while you're driving?
Well, not whilst you're driving, no. Whilst you're having a break, whilst you need that.
Yeah.
It's going to take you a few minutes.
Okay.
Or have the nuts there to just pick up whilst you are driving. But it's all about balance. So if you chose, for example, nuts and yogurt. Yeah. That's going to keep you fuller for longer.
Okay.
It's going to stabilise your blood sugar levels.
Sure.
You're not going to pick so much, for food, but I will cover food and kind of really the ideal is to have three meals a day.
Right.
And not snack at all. So if you found that you had 3 well-balanced meals, which would include, your full protein, your complex carbs, and your good fats.
Okay.
If you had those, and protein being, for me, is usually the most important, it's always good to have.
So fish, chicken.
Yeah. Organic chicken. You've got your peas, nuts. You've got your legumes, your lentils. All of those, your oily fish, like you said.
But how many people actually eat oily fish every week?
Well, really, I would recommend it 2 to 3 times a week. For your omega-3s, your good fats.
But actually, in reality, does that? I mean, I know that for me, we can have comments below. How often do I eat oily fish? When I take supplements, omega-3 supplements, I probably do that every day. I think my recent blood test, I can't remember what were they, triglycerides. Yeah. They were super high. Yeah. So I was probably taking too much omega-3. I have 2 a day and it should have been 1.
Okay. So really what, again, we'd look at is going back to foods. Supplements are great. And, I regularly prescribe them to my clients. But they are always short term and for that boost. And, really it should be from food. So your evening meal, for example, it doesn't have to be oily fish. It could be chicken. It could be turkey. There's lots of protein sources out there. But as long as you have a good, well-balanced meal with your protein, your complex carbs, which are going to stop that spike.
So complex carbs, again, being...
Like sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I love sweet potato. I used to hate sweet potato, but now it's now one of my favourites, I have to say.
Yeah. It's quite a nice winter food, actually, that is as well. I always find. But, having that, you would find that if you are having enough protein, you won't be reaching for the snacks or for your...
So all your chickens and your peas and your nuts and things.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So for me, my kind of routine is I get up, probably a single or double espresso. I go and exercise, cross-train 20 minutes, weights 20 minutes, sea swim if I can. And then I'm naughty. And then I have one of these, Huel. And you're saying, okay, yeah, heavily processed again.
Yes. I mean...
What was interesting before, you said about rapeseed oil was heavily inflammatory.
It's inflammatory, yes. So there's lots of ingredients in there that are mostly sugar, mostly processed. And that's one of the things that I will always ask my clients, or my preference for my clients is always go back to wholesome foods.
So for me, when I'm not as busy, I will say scrambled eggs, avocado, and if I have a bit of extra cash, some salmon. That would be my breakfast.
Yeah.
That's okay. What am I missing?
That's brilliant. I mean, you can have as far as sourdough, you could add...
So I suffer with wheat, dairy, yeast challenges. So I tend to...
maybe not that for you.
But I love bread. And then because my, my blood test recently said I was pre-diabetic. I can't remember. I think I'm 42 and whatever reading was ABC something reading or whatever. Yeah. And I think at 44 or 46. 46 is when you're diabetic 2, I think, type 2, I think I was told. So I'm in this process of journey of discovery. So I've tried out my Zoe, now with a lovely Parvz, who's a human. Zoe's not a human. She's a blood sugar monitor in a program. And it was kind of like fascinating to see when I ate certain food, what caused some extreme spikes, which was kind of, too high. And there were ranges that we had to try and stay in. Yeah. And what I also found, which was incredible, was that, let's say you had rice and chicken, but if you ate the rice first, then the chicken, and then ate the other way around, chicken then the rice, the blood sugar reactions for every individual was different. Why would that be?
Yeah. So usually, if you ate protein first, that actually is when it's it helps us balance our blood sugar levels.
Okay.
So by having that first,
protein first,
you probably wouldn't have seen such a high spike.
Okay.
Whereas having rice first, for example, it's a carbohydrate.
Okay.
And therefore you would have seen that spike.
Wow. Okay. So for me, breakfast, what in your world should be a perfect breakfast?
Well, I work with lots and lots of busy individuals, who don't have time for breakfast, are literally running out of the door.
Isn't that just not enough discipline and poor timekeeping? Because, I am lucky to have some Formula One racing driver clients, some footballers, some high performance people, and it's discipline. The word that I came across yesterday was discipline. And instead of getting up so busy people, yes, they may be busy. Are they busy fools? Are they like, okay, my train to London is at 7. I got to get up at 6:30, and they allow no time. Or what do you think?
It's habits.
Habits.
It's creating habits and creating small habits.
Yeah.
If, for example, I had a consultation and I threw absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Right, this is what you've got to do when you wake up, then add this, then do this, then go out for a walk. You're not going to do it. You're going to walk off and just think, I feel totally overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. I can't do this. So it's actually creating small habits, because these are lifetime habits.
Yeah.
They're there for a lifetime. They're not a quick win that we've all done, all these faddy diets. I've been on all of them myself.
Yeah.
They don't work. They're not going to be sustainable. So the key is to create small habits and small changes, and the smallest changes you see the biggest results in usually.
No, agreed. I think if you do 1%, for me, I try and improve things by 1%. And if I can do 5 areas at 1%, improving 1% per day gets a 5% change in 5 days. And if you do it every day for a year, it's 365%. It's huge, compounding.
Absolutely.
So going back to the perfect breakfast. So for me, I would go scrambled eggs, a little bit of salmon if I have the cash, some avocado. Sometimes recently I've been having tomato and cucumber. It's been quite nice.
Yeah. Amazing. Why not? And, I think in today's world, we don't really think of vegetables as breakfast either. But why would you not add vegetables in there? So, for example, if you are running out the door, let's say you've got 15 minutes, for breakfast. Let's just say
scrambled eggs are quick.
They're very quick. But, you can do a real quick smoothie in that and take it with you. Now, in your smoothie, again, you can include like frozen cauliflower. You don't taste it at all. Take it from me.
It's clever.
Frozen spinach.
Yeah.
You can add that in. A handful of berries, a couple of spoons of Greek yogurt, a spoon of nut butter, chia seeds, oats. You've got it. There's so many options out there. But it's just whizzing that up, and you are good. You're good to go. And again, that's going to keep you full. It's going to keep your blood sugar levels balanced. You're not going to get that spike. One of the other things that regularly I always give suggestions are make it up the night before. So you've got overnight oats that lots of people talk about, and it's quite popular.
Just soak them in water or something?
That or milk.
Okay. Well, milk's my challenge. So for me, I would go almond milk or what's the other one? Hazelnut milk.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than milk.
Yes.
But if you're okay with milk, I'm not okay with milk. So
yeah, no, absolutely. So a nut milk,
Okay.
You'd add that into it. You can add a handful of berries.
Yeah.
Add some.
Again. What about protein powder? Would you add protein powder or not?
As I say, I like to go back to wholesome food, and
so nuts, lots of nuts instead of protein powder.
Yeah, and you've got your seeds. You can add your pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds into it.
Wow.
And that is like a meal in itself. And it will keep you.
And how long would you expect that to kind of keep you full for? 2 hours, 3 hours, or more?
3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, everyone's very different, aren't they? It depends on your metabolism as well and how that works. But for me personally, and most of my clients that I work with, it keeps them going till lunchtime. They're not reaching for that snack or that quick bar of chocolate or.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to find for me, if I'm up between 5:30 and 6:30, and then I exercise, then I have breakfast. Come 11, I'm starting to get peckish. I may have a banana, a naughty drink. Coffee? What's your views on coffee?
I mean, we all love our coffee, don't we? Teas and coffees. I usually clients again that I work with are living on kind of anything between 2 and 8 cups of coffee.
Oh my Lord, I could not survive with 8. My heart rate wouldn't survive 8 coffees.
Yeah, and again, it's not about taking away everything that you enjoy, because I don't believe in that either. It's got to be an 80-20 rule balance. So, I would always say try and we'll work on minimizing their intake. So we're not going to go from 8 to 1. We will work very gradually on that.
So what's a good number, shots of coffee?
I would normally say don't have anything after midday.
Yeah.
Because that will impact on your sleep, so usually after lunch, have 2 cups, whatever that is, we'll just look at reducing that. 2 cups, just don't have anything after midday is usually what I would advise.
And what about ginger shots? Because sometimes people say instead of having a shot of like an espresso, have a ginger shot.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I mean, they're great. Again, I make them usually around this time of year, just to help protect your immune system. And there's, again, you can make those all natural with ginger and turmeric and lemon. And, whiz that up and keep that in your fridge. And there's your shot before you go out the door, rather than paying a fortune for them. And also not always knowing what's in there.
It's true. I mean, I think when you look at labels, not many people actually really study labels.
No.
And then sometimes they're too confusing.
Yes.
I can't remember where it was, and maybe it was France recently, where I could see they were graded A to E, or whether that was here, I don't know. That was how much nutritional benefit was contained in that food. I think maybe in France. I can vaguely remember my wife saying something about, oh, look at these labels.
Yeah.
It's got ABC or ABCDE. I can't remember. So breakfast then, so you need a real good mixture, but protein is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, we need that for energy production.
Right.
We need that to help stop the blood sugar spikes as well.
So maybe I need more protein.
I always say to my clients is, when you are thinking about what you're eating, think about where is the protein on that plate.
Okay.
That's
for all throughout the day, every single meal protein.
Every single meal.
How much? So if we were to break it down in percentages, what percentage of your plate should be protein?
A quarter. So usually rather than weighing, it all gets really complicated. You're not going to do that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So, just a guidance is usually just the size of your palm, the size and the thickness of your palm would be a good protein kind of.
Make sure you eat protein the size of your palm, says Parvz. Protein.
So it is. So it's, that's a quick guidance there. But just to make sure that you do include protein with
so that'd be
meal.
Palm of your hand would be protein, so that's a quarter. What else do we need?
And then you've got your complex carbs, so
such as
your slow releasing, or your rice, your
whole grain, whole grain foods.
Yeah. And then the rainbow, as I call it.
The rainbow.
Veg, yeah.
Okay.
I always go on and on about eat the rainbow in veg. So the more colour that you introduce, the more vitamins and minerals, you are having.
Yeah.
So, have a look at how many kind of different fruit and veg you're having.
Okay.
Mostly veg. So the more colour, the more vitamins and minerals you're introducing to your gut.
Wow. So I think my journey with Zoe, they were trying to get me to have 30 different types and varieties of food, which I'm just about to start.
Usually it is 30 a week.
But I'd struggle to list 30. I mean, I'm probably good if I actually.
I mean, lots of it is seasonal. So if you just go with the seasonal, veg as well. But with it's not that difficult. If you kind of looked at between 5 and 8 a day, if you broke it down.
5 and 8 pieces of fruit and or vegetables.
Mostly veg, fruit,
veg,
yes, but
right.
veg, yes, as well. I mean,
and I'd go like spinach, broccoli, carrots.
You've got cauliflower, you've got kale, you've got and then don't forget your herbs as well, like your onions, your garlic, your ginger that you use.
True.
All of that. It very, very quickly mounts up. So if you started your smoothie, for example, with a frozen piece of cauliflower or spinach, you're already 2 in.
True.
It's not that difficult really to do. Again, it's very small steps and habit.
Okay, and then lunch. So let's say so that's breakfast. So if you're busy, smoothies, get it. Don't do too many of those. Probably could do more. And then lunch. What's a perfect lunch then? So again, protein.
So protein, So you've got, your eggs, you've got your fish, you've got your plants, so your pulses, your chickpeas, and there's a whole variety of that. So you can have your salads if you are out and about, in and out of meetings. You can pick up hummus. That's a really good, quick and nutritious lunch to have with some
carrot and cucumber,
celery. It's again going to keep you full. But if you're at home, you've got your omelets as well. Eggs are so versatile, aren't they?
They do.
And then
except if you're Peter Izzard who hates eggs. We had a chat with Peter recently. There's not good with eggs. Someone we both know in the industry, in the finance world, he was not.
He's not good with eggs.
Not good with eggs.
There's lots. There's so many different options. But if you're at home, maybe you've got more time to cook, or I always say at the weekend, batch cook, freeze it. It's one less thing for you to think about when you're walking in through that door.
Yeah, but again, I don't even think like that.
No.
Terrible.
But do you do the cooking?
Yeah.
At
I
home?
do cook.
Yeah.
I can do a good Sunday roast.
Yeah. So roasts. So they're great. Make extra. Have it the following day. I always say, to help with the veg intake is to do like a tray bake. Put all your veg on it. Do a really nice tray bake. Some olive oil, herbs, garlic.
I'm with you.
And then keep that for the next 2 days, 3 days in the fridge, so you're not constantly feeling overwhelmed. One of the big things that I always advise as well is to plan your meals. You're not sitting there, you've had a stressful meeting or you're off to do a presentation. You're not sitting there thinking, what is it that I'm going to have tonight for lunch, for breakfast? What am I going to do? Plan your meals. You know what your diary's like for the following week. So plan around it. I
don't know how many people plan their week, but that's a very good.
I most certainly. I never used to. Obviously, I've worked in the industry in the financial industry for over 20 years, and I can definitely say, firstly, nutrition wasn't at the top of my agenda, although I was always on fatty diets. But planning them just seems to take that stress out. You know what you're having. You're not opening that fridge going, do you know what? I'm just going to order that pizza because I just cannot be bothered.
Taking the easy option.
You plan your meals, you do your shop around that, do your online shop, and it's here. All you've got to do is cook it, prep it, and make it, rather than think, what is it that I should have? And
what about these pre-made menus, ingredients? I mean, I think in the past we've used HelloFresh, where all the ingredients get sent to you, and then you have the menu, the card to cook. I mean, they're quite good. I mean,
there's lots of really good,
healthy. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked for ages.
Really good, options out there. Absolutely. I mean, if that is going to help you and stop you from ordering that Deliveroo, then absolutely. There's some really good options. There's really good menus out there, and I would always say yes over not knowing what you're going to eat, or going out, or having that takeaway, or having that Deliveroo.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I never plan my food. Never. That's terrible. But then again, I'm probably always traveling most days somewhere. And I think if you're traveling, trying to eat healthily when traveling is super difficult. So people got any other tips and great ideas if you're traveling? Like, I'm in a different hotel, different place every night for 6 nights. Healthy options don't really exist that well, I don't find.
You've got to know what it is that you're looking for. You've got to
healthy
know.
Food, salads, fish,
so
chicken.
When you are traveling, up and down the motorways, and oh my goodness, I've had my fair share of that.
Yeah.
And we always tend to naturally just go for that sandwich, or, a bag of crisps, or but there are so many better options. I know it's limited, absolutely, but there are better options. You can pick up hummus, you can pick up salads, you can pick up a chicken salad.
But I find hummus was always kind of a big pot, and you end up wasting so much. I'll have to think. So when I'm driving around the country the next few days, I think so.
Wow. Okay. Well, what do you tend to eat it with?
Carrots or cucumber.
Okay. But you find that pot.
There's the only pots I seem to see, the ones that are sort of like that kind of size.
No, they're not smaller ones.
I've not seen little pots.
There's definitely smaller ones.
I'll have to have a look for little pots of hummus.
Definitely. You've got those options. You've got fruit there. You've got your fruit salad.
So what about fruit then, with all these natural? So for me, I love strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. Love them.
They're all the right ones.
Eat them every day, but
fruit, it's natural, it's great.
But you're going to get, for me, blood sugar spikes.
Yes.
Oh my Lord. I mean, I had a little bit of, granola and some chia seeds and things. I threw in the berries. My blood sugar went through the roof.
It would do. Fruit is still it's a natural sugar, it's fructose. So it's, it's natural. So what I would always say is have a handful of nuts with it.
Nuts first.
Have it with it. Yeah, just have your fruit, have your nuts, other way around, whichever way you want, but you won't find that spike so high because it will be slower releasing. So yeah, definitely, because it's a natural sugar.
And what about intermittent fasting? What's your thoughts about that? So for me, I try and stop eating after 7:30.
Yeah, I mean, it has so many benefits. It works for some, it doesn't work for others. It depends on usually who I'm working with. I'll work out whether it's going to be suitable for them or not. But absolutely, I mean, introduce it gradually, like once, twice a week. You have that 8-hour window of.
But I try into it every day now. For me, I religiously try and not eat too late. I wear an Oura ring, which tracks my sleep and heart rate and all sorts of other wonderful things with it. One for watches, one for blood pressures. Oh my Lord. There's too many.
Gadgets,
But it's the intermittent fasting was the best way I've been able to control my weight.
Yes.
Without having to diet, which it's never going to work for me. I found that intermittent fasting, if I stopped eating after, say, 7, half 7, and if I didn't eat again to, say, 10:30 next morning. Okay, Parvz, so you've got a lovely lunch prepared for us. What have we got? Talk me through the options and what we've got and why we've got what we've got.
It's more of a, help yourself. So I've got some protein balls here.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to make them for ages. Really good for that snack or that afternoon slump.
Yeah. So what's in a protein ball?
So it's full of nuts, medjool dates.
What date?
Medjool date.
Not a hot date, not a Friday night date. A medjool date. A medjool date. I've never heard of a medjool date. Okay.
And some coconuts.
Yeah.
And then just a tiny little bit of nut milk and some cacao powder.
Well, then hold on, let's have a look. So how big are they? Quite big.
There we go.
Are they nice?
They are very yummy. They're very Moorish. So that's great for your kind of fix. Here, I've got some berries. We were just talking about berries.
Yeah.
So, fab, to have as a snack, to have for breakfast, add on to your yogurt. They're full of antioxidants. Anything with berries, they're kind of the most powerful kind of fruit that we can get.
So antioxidant type food.
Yeah, so it helps. Yeah, absolutely full of antioxidants. And then we've got some olives here.
Olives good for?
Olives. Oh, you're going to ask me and I have to think about that.
Don't worry, you can have a think about it. We can all it's fine.
So and then I've got some greens here. Just the more colourful greens you can get, dark leafy greens, better. Just done some chickpeas here that I've just literally heated up with some fresh garlic.
Yeah.
And cumin powder.
Brilliant.
And just some peppers. It's great to just take on the move with you. It took me less than 10 minutes to do. Some coconut yogurt there, so you can put that in with your chickpeas, which is really lovely. Just a whole mix of your veg here, some cucumber, peppers, all really good for.
So how many colours in the rainbow then? If you count all of this selection, what are we looking at colour-wise in terms of the
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
Is that 7? Yeah.
Well done.
So, and we're only talking a handful. We're not saying eat the whole, it's a handful.
And what order should we be eating them?
I always, if it's a meal, go with your protein first.
Okay.
And then...
protein here, then we've got chickpeas.
Chickpeas, yeah. And then, then if you've got rice and then your, complex carbs, so you just eat it, start it with protein. It's always good.
Top tips.
Top tips.
For anything, food-wise. What we're about to eat. Doesn't matter because we can edit it.
Okay. Top tips about eating. I think, again, it's going back to protein. It's going to help you keep full for longer. It's good for energy production. It's going to stop you from snacking. And, therefore, it's going to help with giving your system a rest, actually. Your digestive system a rest in between meals.
And that's where sort of the intermittent fasting is probably a good thing to do if you're wanting to be that way inclined with food.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I was just going to say to you is also, you say that you finish eating at 7:30.
Try to, yeah.
Yep. And what time do you tend to go to bed?
Between 9 and 10, depending on scheduling kids.
Yeah,
life.
sure. So typically we should leave 2 to 3 hours, after we've eaten. We should leave 2 to 3 hours before bed because, our body's still digesting it and it's got to sleep and repair itself. So it's really important that we leave the 2 to 3 hours.
So many business people have late dinners,
Yes.
then go to bed and fall asleep on food. And I know from wearing my Oura ring that my body doesn't get the best sleep in my scores because the body's still awake, working, digesting the food.
It is. Well, it's still working to digest the food. So you're never going to recover. Your body's not going to recover fully. Therefore, it's really important to give it that break.
Perfect.
And also not to snack in between. Because again, after you've eaten, your body's repairing, it's digesting. So you've got to give it that time to repair.
Perfect. Thank you.